time to rise and shine. I'm Shelby Barrett, the STONED for the STONED Roadie Show, and it's time to wake and bake with Craig Reed and Griff Martin.
When we get up in the morning, along with coffee, toast, and cake, if you're like the old STONED Roadie, you like to wake and bake. Now let's join Craig Reed and Griff Martin as you head out on the road. So sit right back and buckle right in. It's the Wake and Bake Morning Show. Good morning.
Podcast 146. It's Friday, March 22nd, and action. Looky here. My name's Craig Reed, a.k.a. the STONED Roadie, and this is my co-host, the rocket scientist, Griff Martin.
Craig, today is our 2-year anniversary for second year of podcasts.
I know I put up a reminder that they reminded me today on that when I posted that on FakeBook, they reminded me that was 2 years, but we actually started doing them on March 14th on FakeBook. That's when I was actually doing them off a GoPro then, and I didn't have this microphone, but I noticed on the first one I had this mic, so I must have got my new camera and mic before we started these.
Doesn't seem like 2 years.
I don't know.
Well, I don't want time to go.
These
by
wake and
fast.
bakes are So why am I doing this? And I go, oh yeah, I'm trying to raise money for the survivors.
Yeah, that's what we're trying to do. Trying to piss people off too, I guess.
People think I'm gratifying my bank account by these. I wish that was the case, but no, it's strictly for the survivors is why I'm doing this. It seems to be anyway. Can't think of any other reason.
We're uncovering all kinds of cool stuff, though, that you don't realize because you don't think it's so cool because you were there and everybody else wants to hear more. So
no, actually, everybody, I enjoy the people telling me they enjoy these things and everything, telling me how they lie and say I'm getting better at it. They're just trying to build my ego to keep me doing them, I guess. I don't know, but God, yeah. So we'll keep rolling. We'll keep rolling it along. We're not gonna do our farewell tour yet.
No, yeah. And then if we do a farewell tour, we'll come back a couple times.
Then we'll decide that we're not gonna quit anyway. So
yeah, and then we'll do a tribute tour.
But I guarantee you one thing: I ain't gonna do these things till the day I die. That's for damn sure.
Unless we die doing them. Then I'll sell your funeral brochure, and you got permission to sell them.
Yeah.
But mine won't bring much.
Yeah. And my niece is a printer, so she'll make us up some good ones. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, we're going to change things up a little bit today. We're not going to do the at the end of the podcast the interview with the Mr. O'Hara interviews. We're going to do what I talked about the other day, and I've been talking to Craig about, and we're going to celebrate Chad Reed, Craig's son. We're going to talk about that character, and you're really going to like it because I've talked Craig into breaking loose some of his home movies, and I got a nice watermark on there, so you guys don't try to use those because that won't be too cool, but you'll enjoy them. It's got a lot of Chad on there. You got some Ronnie, some band members on there, and it's a good little video, and you guys stick around for the end of it. It's a little celebration, and we're not going to talk about plane crash stuff on this one too much. And there's a nice little tidbit, Craig, that I noticed in a YouTube interview with Peter Frampton that's kind of brought a little skinformation to light. And it's somewhat of a coincidence. And in that interview, I was watching it because I was really interested in how Peter Frampton got back that Black Beauty Gibson Black Beauty that he lost, which burned up supposedly in a plane crash. And then he found out that it was actually not burned up and that somebody had stolen it, and they were going around in Caracas, uh, down there. I think that's around Venezuela, and they got caught with it, and so the guy stuck it in his closet, and his kid took it out of the closet and took it down to get it fixed so he could play it, and the luthier that saw it, that was going to work on it, recognized it and got a hold of Peter Frampton, and they that's when they got the guitar back. But the reason I bring it up is because when Peter Frampton was talking about the airplane crash, he said that Rodney Eckerman called him and said, "Hey, I got bad news for you, Peter. The equipment plane crashed, and all of the equipment burned up, and it's a total loss." And he said Rodney Eckerman was the tour manager, which is Ron Eckerman's brother, right, Craig?
Yeah. Rodney's Ron Eckerman's brother. Yeah.
And then here's the other thing that's really crazy is it was a Convair 880 that blew up and crashed.
Yeah, that's a lot bigger than a 240, huh?
Yeah, that's
actually
got 4 jet engines on it.
Oh
But
boy.
it's still a Convair, and isn't that crazy?
Yeah.
Rodney Eckerman and in a Convair 880, and then you got Ron Eckerman with a Convair 240. So that's kind of crazy little skin formation there for you guys, and it was kind of shocking to me, and what had happened. They had like pallets of equipment all strapped, and they think that one of the straps broke loose. And of course, I'm big into aviation, and I know a lot about weights and balances and stuff like that. And if you get moving payload and you're on takeoff, and that's what happened was this CG got out of whack, and the wing caught the runway on takeoff, and it just cartwheeled and exploded full of fuel. And if you guys haven't seen that Peter Frampton, it's actually a pretty new one, and he goes over all the guitars that he had, and that guy's got a lot of bad luck too, man. He lost all of his guitars in that plane crash, and then that Nashville flood in 2010, he lost 44 guitars. So he's lost 2 collections of guitars, and he of course, he got paid some insurance money and started a whole new collection since then. And in that video, he went over all that stuff. And but you was around Peter Frampton quite a bit, right, Craig?
Yeah, actually was. Yeah, Peter. Actually, where I met, not met, but where the draft house down here, where I say that Rick Derringer played, where Linda Blair was with him right down the road here. Peter Frampton actually played there one time, and actually they booed him off the stage down there. Yeah.
Really?
Yeah,
Wow.
yeah. I don't know why. Yeah.
Must have been that song that he played, "I'm in you, you're in me."
It was way before anybody ever really heard of him, Yeah, but yeah, he didn't get a good response down
Well,
there.
he lived in Cincinnati. You know that, right?
No, I didn't know that.
Yeah, for a long time. He had a wife that she was from Cincinnati, and that's where they lived. And then I guess they got divorced, and he moved down to Nashville. Yeah.
But hey, I wanted to give a shout out. That's why I got this background up here. That's my pond down there. But all those trees, you see that? Oh, that red truck. Let me see.
Yeah, it looks like a Dodge.
Oh, it's a red Chevy truck. Where
Oh,
that
okay.
truck is, all those trees all along those a tornado went through there and took out all that whole row of trees, like 34 trees. So all those trees are gone on both.
But that was a long time ago.
On both sides of me, yeah. All those trees are all gone on both sides of me.
I remember when that happened. That was like a couple of years ago, wasn't it?
Yeah. But on the other side of those trees, there's a creek, whatever you want to call it, and that used to be a pond there. Well, my buddy Tom, he came today and looked at it from Parsons Land Clearing and Service. He's going to bring an excavator in here, and he's going to dig me out a pond down there again. And,
cool.
Yeah. So.
Do you think I can take people down there and baptize them?
Yeah. Yeah, that should be your new baptismal place down there, yeah. But yeah, it'd be pretty cool. I won't be able to fish in there. Well, I could be able to fish. I'm gonna put fish in there and stuff, but I wouldn't eat any fish that come out of there because it's stormwater from the housing development that they built behind me, and that's why my pond got filled up with silt. That's all topsoil in there. So he's going to dig it out about 6 foot deep and about 250 feet long and about 30 feet wide. So there'll be a lot of dirt and a lot of topsoil in there. But
well, you know, Craig, you if you eat those fish, you might catch a buzz on them, man.
Oh God, there's no frogs, there's no snakes, there's nothing down there. All the runoff from everybody's stuff and the roads and all that stuff they put in back there. They diverted all the water into the creek that runs around my house, and all when they were constructing back there, the water that come around there was just mud. It was just brown, and then it just settled and it filled up my pond. So I'm gonna get it dug out.
Yeah, that's pretty expensive stuff too, you know.
There's a lot of topsoil in there.
Yeah, so you could sell that topsoil, maybe make a few bucks, huh?
Yeah, I'm gonna use a little bit of it and sell some of it. I'm sure my friends will have a use for it.
Well, you're lucky when that tornado came through there. You know that, of course, you said that the Amish built your house, so and
yeah, it's brick, so it's you can huff and you could puff.
Yeah, it is a pretty stout house, I'll have to say. I have to admit, I've seen the construction on it. It's a pretty stout house there. Well, Craig, I tell you, man, we've been getting a lot of really great comments, and I think going over a lot of the comments that people write in, I think that they're enjoying that. And I figured what we would do is I'll go over a lot of these comments that people sent in on the last podcast, and then when we get done with these comments, we'll talk a little bit about Chad Reed and how he came about, and a little bit about him. You got anything you want to talk about before?
Yeah, well, on the last one, somebody asked me who the truck driver was, and I had a brain fart and I couldn't think, and I'm talking about the bus drivers, and I couldn't think of the truck driver, but it was Jim. The one guy's name was Jim, and he's the one that where the always would go, "You got that right." Everything you'd ask him, he'd go, "You got that right," and that's where Ronnie come up with the song, yeah, you got that right, from truck driver, old Jim. He had always wearing this great big cowboy hat. You got that right.
Yeah, Ronnie, man, he didn't mess around. He took a song out of everything, you know. I remember people used to say that back when I was in like elementary school, you know. You'd say something about, "Man, I don't want to dress out in PE today." Yeah, you got that right. That was
yeah, that's all I got. Yeah, I just wanted to mention that. Oh no, and then Angela, she on that other round of questions, she says, "Craig, do you puff and pass?" And my buddy Sammy's answered, and he goes, "Well, he's really good, really good at puffing, but he's kind of delinquent in his duties when it comes to passing.
Well, I know I'm gonna have to argue with that because when I came up to see you, I was still working and I couldn't be toking on no weed. And Craig used to try to pass it to me all the time. Like, here, Griff, it ain't gonna hurt you. And I'm like, well, yeah, I can't do that. And he's like, oh, it'll be gone in a couple days. So yeah, he was passing to me all right, but I guess he just wanted to see me get high so he could laugh. Well, okay, well, we'll go over these comments and then we'll talk a little bit about Chad Reed and we'll get a kick out of that character. Yeah, so on the last podcast, a lot of comments, people sent in really interesting stuff too, and it's just really cool to go over them. And I think that the people that watch the podcast enjoy it. Maybe they'll write in more comments. The more that you write in, the more we'll pick out and the more we'll go over. Somebody was asking, how can we win a painting in a photo? And well, that whole contest, you get the painting as part of the package. You just went over everything on that last podcast that it comes in there, and it does not cost you anything to enter that contest. It's just a gift, right, Craig?
Yeah.
Yeah, so that painting is I don't know about a photo, but there's we
get the photo, of the Fox photo. Yeah.
Oh yeah,
you got the Fox photo that come from our disciple Dave, and then we got the thing that he sends me and Mark Frank and Mark Howard to give to people that want some kind of a souvenir from us. He gives us that. It says Survivor on it. I don't have that thing here available right now, but we're going to send one of those, then the painting, and then the stickers and the kazoo and the $1 million bill, and it's a big grand prize this time. Yeah,
it's a lot of stuff, man. It's a lot of skin memorabilia in that package. You guys, you don't want to miss that. And of course, Craig, I think maybe at the end he'll put up his email. That way you'll have to watch the whole podcast.
Yeah, I'll put it up right now.
But
so far we don't have that many entries, so I'll probably be going through all the names, and that what your number is before we start. Hopefully I can do that, because that's how we're gonna go. We're gonna, however, when you write into the StonedRoadie@gmail.com and say you want to enter that contest, that'll whatever number you, or when I get your email, that'll be your number, and we'll draw a number, and that'll be the winner.
Yeah.
And we hope it ain't one of our good friends, like it's been every time we have a drawing. It's getting to look all suspicious.
Like the guitar that
but
Otto.
Shelby didn't win that last one. That was somebody that I said, oh, well, good. At least that's somebody we don't know. And then they entered the contest to win it for Shelby.
And it was her mother's friend.
Her mother's friend, yeah. So, well, that was the way it was supposed to be.
Yeah, and then Otto won that guitar that Brandon Miller gave away.
That was weird.
And I was joking around. I videotaped it and I yelled out, "Rigged!"
That was weird, man. When I threw that name out, I couldn't believe it. I said, "Oh God."
So this time,
I said, I bet he bought a whole bunch of tickets, but he said he don't think he did. He might have bought 5 or 10. He didn't really remember.
Well, this time we'll just have to see what happens. Third time's a charm. Then back to the comments, somebody wrote in and they were saying they sure do wish that Gene and Artie would make up. Well, don't count it out because it's. And speaking of Artie, update, we are in kind of like semi talks with him So it's not a total loss. So you guys don't discount it yet. We might get him on the road with Griff Martin. I think he might do that. We'll have to see, but don't get
Yeah,
your
we're not
hopes
going to
up,
get
but-
him on a podcast right here like we're doing right now and have
Yeah.
him underneath in a thing underneath. Griff's going to do on the road with Griff Martin and have a sit down with him. That'll
if
be
he'll do it. Yeah.
if he would do it. Yeah,
Yeah, it's under
I
negotiation.
think he'd be
so,
more comfortable with that. So
yeah.
maybe he gets explained how he want to do it, but.
Yeah, and maybe somebody else was saying, we were talking about that monkey that Alan and Artie were messing around with, and a guy says that Artie said in an interview that he was tripping on some acid whenever that monkey was drinking that whiskey. So he got an extra big kick out of it.
My sister sent me she watches these and she did a search for Zippo the monkey and found that Zippo the roller skating monkey, and that's a famous monkey. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I was wondering, was
he?
he still alive? I don't know if she found anything out about that.
No, I don't think so. I don't know.
Yeah.
But there's actually pictures you can buy of him for like pictures of him with the skates on were like $57 for a picture of Zippo the monkey with skates on.
Well, maybe some of
monkey.
the podcast listeners can do a little research and see when he died, what year he died, and report back to us. And we'll
the famous
mention it.
monkey Zip.
Yeah. Yeah, the guy here, he asked another comment, just to clarify, is the giveaway free? Do you need a donation? No, the donation's not how you get this one. This is free. The donations go to Craig Reed, P.O. Box 442, Green, Ohio, 44232. So if you have a donation, we appreciate that because it goes right to the survivors. Pick whatever survivor you want. If you don't pick one, then we'll divvy it up between all of them. And that's where that P.O. box, the funds for that go. So we appreciate all the donations, and so do the survivors, and that's why we're here.
Yeah, the giveaway is totally free. You just write us in an email, and we'll put you on the list as no cost.
And we're thinking about doing it April Fools. Am I right, Craig?
Yeah. Think about maybe having a drawing on April Fools. I'd like to get a few more people entered. There's not a lot of people entered yet.
Yeah, that way if somebody that we know wins it, we can go April Fools.
Yeah, I'd like to see a few more people enter actually.
And
big giveaway, big giveaway.
Big giveaway. Yeah. And then somebody mentioned when Skynyrd was touring in the UK, they believe that Edwin Shirley Trucking drove the equipment round.
That's right.
UK.
Yeah,
that sound familiar, Craig?
Edward Shirley Trucking. Yeah, that's exactly right.
See, we got some
Trinifold. I was that one podcast we were thinking of when we had the big cake fight where that was a Trinifold party. They were kind of like our English touring agent or whatever it was called, Trinifold. Yeah.
Yeah.
We had the party for us where we tore up the restaurant over there.
So whatever Craig can't remember, maybe you guys can help us remember, and we appreciate that. Yeah, and there's a guy, he says, this is for Artemis. Artemis, please come on the podcast. You are the last of the best lineup. So I'm sure Artie will appreciate that if he were to watch the podcast, which I don't believe he does. But yeah.
I don't think he's into social media whatsoever.
No, I don't either. And then a guy says, yeah, Craig, I think you are still around only because you come from good genes. Being how your sister.
Yeah, somebody said, when I said my sister was 90, they said, yeah, genes, yeah. It has to be something to do with that, man. Maybe I got some Keith Richards genes or some Willie Nelson genes.
And And then a guy says, Craig, the bass player for Foreigner was Ed Gagliardi.
Yeah, I saw that after he was. I couldn't
Yes,
think of his name. Yeah, Ed Gagliardi. Yeah.
I saw a little clip, a TikTok clip of Paul McCartney, and he goes, Foreigner, not in the Hall of Fame? That's a bunch of shit.
It is. Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that was Paul McCartney that said that. So
Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah. They had some great songs, man. Yeah.
yeah,
That Double
that's
Vision album was there. Alan loved that song. Alan loved Foreigner, man. He loved.
oh yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. Lou Graham, yeah. He wanted me to try to get Lou Graham to sing with Rossington Collins before they, when they didn't have anybody. Lou Graham and Paul
Well,
Rogers, that's who both Gary and Alan wanted to get.
Well, that's some new skin information. I knew about Paul Rogers, but I
I
didn't
thought
know
I
about
talked
Lou
to,
Graham.
well, yeah, Lou Graham. Yeah, they said, call Lou Graham. And I said, man, he ain't going to quit Foreigner to go start a new band with you guys.
I know Leslie West was kind of being considered too. Sir.
Yeah, well, kinda, yeah.
But he wanted to change the name to something else.
I don't remember ever. I mean, he was around every time Leslie was around. I think they just had him. Ronnie just had him play because that was like a controversial thing. Like, I think, man, I think maybe Leslie West is gonna, to draw, But I don't think Ronnie ever really seriously considered him being the third guitar player. I think he used a lot of people that they, got up and played,
Well, he wouldn't have gone over too good because you'd have been telling him he's fat.
That was like that. Also, Gary and Alan thought about maybe Greg Allman, but that, Greg wanted the name of the band to more or less be the Allman, an Allman thing, and they wanted it to be more about them, So yeah, that's why that didn't happen.
Then a guy says here, can you do a segment on you and Griff's childhood? What did your parents do? Did you move much? And who introduced you to weed? Well, I can
Sue's
tell you.
mother. I mean, Chad's mother.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah.
Yeah,
Chad's
see, we'll have to
mother.
talk about that a little more when we talk about Chad. So how old were you, Craig, when you
I had to be 16, 17, yeah.
was that the first drug that you did, or was it anything else?
Yeah.
Oh yeah, weed.
Oh, I was an alcoholic. My dad was out. Shit, I was drinking beer. I could just open the refrigerator and grab a beer anytime I wanted to. My dad didn't give a shit.
and that's the same thing with my dad. As a matter of fact, I think Craig had a better upbringing than I did, but my father was a very bad drug addict, and he's the one who handed me a joint when I was like 13, and here, smoke that, boy. So, and I had to get out of the house by the time I was 15, or I'd have ended up in bad shape. I had to get away from that. That's kind of weird, and I went to school and then went to work for NASA instead of being a drug addict. But now I'm, hanging out with one. So, yeah, that's pretty much. I don't know. You got anything else you want to talk about your childhood, Craig?
No.
Yeah, I'm done. I'm done.
No, I was baseball. My childhood consisted of baseball. My whole childhood, that's all I thought about was baseball. And then when I got into high school, it was cars and girls, and then it was all downhill from there.
I think my father was trying to kill me ever since I was born because he was buying me motorcycles and those kites that you fly behind boats and scuba diving when I was 10. And I think he was trying to bump me off, but I made it. So I
That'd
don't
have
know
been
how I
cool
did it.
scuba diving at that young. I loved scuba diving.
Yeah, oh yeah. I did it when you went down and got your scuba gear from the hardware store. That's how young I was. Only they had
I still
dive
got my
shops.
scuba gear. I still got my wetsuit and all my scuba gear and stuff I had when Gary and Alan scuba dove. We all went scuba diving together.
Didn't somebody die and then they said, "Oh, we got
Yeah,
to
that's
quit
what
this"?
freaked Gary and Alan out. They pulled some guy out of a cave, and after they did that, they
Yeah,
didn't go anymore. Yeah, it freaked them out.
yeah. I don't like that cave diving. Yeah, it's Craig, were you born in the house that you live in now?
No, I was born in the projects of Hillwood Homes down in Akron. My parents were my dad got a job at the Goodyear Tire and Rubber, and they built and all these from West Virginia, and all them hillbillies from West Virginia moved up to Ohio and got jobs in the rubber factory. That's when the Akron was the rubber capital of the world for a while. So that's a lot of people worked up in
There's
the
a big
factory.
hangar there where you live, where that big Goodyear blimp
Where the Goodyear blimp
goes.
was,
I
yeah.
went over there and checked that out when I was up there to
And
visit you.
and my dad bought this property in 1953. I was born in 1951. He bought this property in 1953, but he just used it to farm on for a long, long time. And he had a barn out here, and he had chickens and rabbits and stuff. And then I remember we were looking for a house in Akron, and just in houses, and then my dad decided to build a house out here, and all my sisters thought he was crazy. I got 6 sisters and a brother, and all my sisters thought he was crazy. He's wanting to build a house way out there. There's nothing out there. Oh my God, it's way out in the boonies. Oh my God, what's Mom gonna do out there? Because at that, I don't think she even had a driver's license at
Was
that.
that like the first house that was built
No,
out in that area?
uh, no, it wasn't the first one, but there was very few houses out here. Yeah,
The airport wasn't there yet, was it? Was the
yeah,
airport
I
there?
believe the airport was here. It was a real small one, though. It was
Yeah.
a real small airport. Yeah.
Well, there's quite a few houses around you now.
Oh God.
And then there's
yeah,
that whole big that housing development
It used
behind
to
you.
be just farms out here. There was farms that surrounded me. It was all farms. When I was growing up, there was a big farm right behind me. They grew Kentucky bluegrass, and that's where. And then they farmed it too. They grew all kind of other stuff. But that all the guy worked for the Firestone Country Club, where they have the big golf course down there.
Yeah, you took me by there.
And
At that
all
place.
all that Kentucky bluegrass that come out of there originally come out of the sod farm right here behind me. And I worked back there when I was just a little kid rolling sod.
That's where you learn to roll.
Yeah, rolling sod. Yeah.
This-
Rolling sod and baling hay and drove a tractor. I was driving a tractor when I was 8 years old. I was back there disking and harrowing fields when I was 8 years old on a John Deere and an Oliver tractors with the tricycle wheels in the front. $1 an hour driving a tractor around in them fields. Disking them and harrowing them and stuff. Yeah.
This guy that asked that question, he says a good place to bury you is underneath Alan's car when you die. Ain't a bad idea, is it?
Yeah, that'd be a good tombstone. Yeah.
Then another guy says, another person, I don't know, it could be a girl. What year did you guys meet? That's a good question. Probably 5 years ago.
God, and I don't think it's that long ago, was it? It was.
Well, it goes by fast,
Well, Kathy
That's
Terrio
when-
just died. Kathy Terrio just died. What?
I think 3 years ago.
That was 2 years ago. It was February 2 years ago. she died.
Well,
And
no,
we met
because the
each other.
podcast is 2 years old, and we knew her way
She
before the
died. She
podcast.
died. Yeah, she died right before the podcast started, and we started talking to each other about a year before that, I think.
Yeah, it could. I think
'Cause I
it's at
was
least.
talking to you. I was talking to you for a year probably before I started talking to her.
Yeah, and
Yeah. So.
I remember that, like I was saying on the last podcast, the way I found out who you were was Joe Crimp told me, and I just talked to old Joe last night, Joe Crimp last night, and I had to go because I had something I had to do, but yeah, that was pretty fun talking. I love talking to Joe, man. We get on that phone sometimes. It's hours, man. So
Oh yeah, he
yeah,
knows a
so
lot about the old days, about
yeah,
back in
I'm
the
working
school
on trying
days.
to go. He's got he's playing a gig at my uncle's AmVet. My uncle's a Marine, a veteran, Marine veteran, and he lives up there near Joe. And I introduced him, and they became big friends. And now he gets some gigs at the all the AmVets up there. And Saturday they're playing, so I might break off and go up there if I can figure out squeeze in some time to do that and go see those guys playing. So yeah, Vinyl up in Jacksonville on Keystone Heights at the AmVet. You guys go check out Vinyl with Joe Crimp. And Joe Crimp, yeah, he played with the Skynyrd boys, man, drummer. So you guys want to go meet Joe Crimp and go up there and see him at AmVet Saturday. I think it starts at 5 o'clock. So I may be there. Like to see you come and check that out. All right. So let me
Yeah,
see.
he kind of stayed away from them because Bob kind of got a little
You're jealous, I guess you'd
jealous,
say.
whatever. When Joe would be hanging around, Bob would get his feelings hurt or whatever.
Well, Joe would tell me that he'd be out there riding his horse and Skinner'd be practicing, and he'd be out there riding his horse and then he'd hear Ronnie whistle and he'd go, "Oh shit." He knows what that means. And so he'd come up there and Ronnie go, "Get in here and show Bob Burns how to play this damn song." And Joe would say, "Man, Griff, I don't want to do that."
I remember one time at rehearsal, they were rehearsing, and Bob, there was something that Bob just couldn't get it, man. He just couldn't get the beat right, and they were really, I thought it would be really. I'm not a drummer, and I thought it would be relatively simple for a drummer to do, but he couldn't get it, man.
Yeah, I guess it happens,
Yeah.
But yeah, so Joe said that, and then he'd play and they'd go, "Yeah, now that's how you do it, Bob." And then Bob, kind of be looking at Joe like, "You bastard." But
yeah, there was some things Bob had trouble difficulty doing. I remember that one instance particularly.
but there was a concert where Randall Hall was playing, and then Bob Burns went to it, and Randall mentioned Joe Crimp, and then Bob Burns said, "Oh man, I love that Joe Crimp." So Joe's the nicest guy. You don't get along with Joe Crimp, you don't get along with anybody. That's the way I'll have to say that. And let me see here. Oh, the guy when we were talking about the guy that a little bit back to the plane crash here thing real quick, that we mentioned that somebody had a branch stuck in their abdomen. This guy here says that it was Paul Welch.
Really?
Yeah. So I don't know how he knows that, but that's some good skin information there. I'll have to call Paul up and say, "Hey, Paul, man, was that you that had the branch stuck in your abdomen?" Yeah, and he's one of the guys that gets donations. So, and I heard he's struggling pretty bad right now. So if anybody wants to donate anything to
Yeah,
Paul,
I kind of heard Paul's not that is having some
Yeah.
issues. Yeah.
But a nice guy. I did an interview with him, and it's on one of the podcasts, and it was a really extensive interview, and he did a really great job. And what a nice guy. And that's the second time I got to sit down with Paul. The other time was at the monument unveiling, and that's when I met him. Really great guy. So yeah,
He
there's
tries hard to make it though, when he can.
yeah, he does. Yeah, he
Gotta give him credit. Yeah, he really tries.
and yeah, I mean he
And him and Mark Howard too, boy.
they made it
That was
down to the
crazy
rocking.
to see him out there. He just got his leg chopped off a couple
At the
few days
monument,
before
yeah.
that. He was out there,
And then after he got home, he was in a bad way.
Yeah,
I think
he went through some pain. Yeah, I guess he just had to have some. He said he had to have a part of that bone trimmed away or something.
Oh yeah, I think it was
or was it the steel rod he's got to get trimmed away? He's got
yeah.
that dang titanium rod in there. My God, that shit, you can't cut it. When you do, it gets hot.
Yeah, and then you try to put on one of those artificial legs, and you got that steel rod in there rubbing on things. That ain't cool.
Yeah.
Yeah, I can see where that would be a problem. Okay, all right, back to the comments. The Who riot, the guy said, as somebody says, it could be a her, could be a he. It was in 1979. One of our Stone Roadie watchers tells us.
Yeah, they had general admission, and people were trying to get down there in the front row, and somebody fell and they trampled them. People trying to get down there in the front row.
I remember that.
And,
that was
people fell down and it just got trampled to death. People were crazy.
Yeah. Yeah, you got to watch out for those rock and rollers, man. They stomp the hell out of you. Then somebody says, Craig, can I move into Leon's room and we can be smoke buddies?
Actually, I moved into that room.
Oh, you did? You're not in the other room anymore?
No, I made that my closet.
Well, you need a big closet, that's for sure. You got enough outfits to wear. Where every day you could wear a different outfit every day for the next year.
Two.
Well, that was the last comment, and then we just go right into talking about Chad Reed. And what year was old Chad Reed born, Craig?
71, December 20th, 1971.
And when was it you met his mom?
Oh, high school. Wow. Right out of once she got out of the 8th grade, it was a freshman. I don't know what year that was. It would have been 66, something like that.
Oh yeah, 66.
Yeah.
Was she your first girlfriend?
No. No.
She's the first one you got pregnant.
Yeah. She was a beauty queen coming out of 8th grade. She was a 8th grade beauty queen.
Well, here's it, and I believe she's in the video that we're putting up at the end here. I think she's in that.
In a boat. I don't know. Yeah.
She's in the. What we'll do is we'll show that video, and then you guys ask questions about the video, anything you want to know about it, and put them in the comments, and we'll go through the comments and answer all your questions to the video when you see it. Yeah, it's a really good video. So, Craig, let me ask you the $6 million question. Was Chad planned or was he an accident?
Accident.
There you have it, yeah. Chad. You were an accident.
Yeah, he knows.
Oh, does he?
Yeah, he knows. He was.
So when you found out, were you like, oh shit, or was it like, oh well? And when he was born, so you didn't know Skynyrd yet, right?
No.
You didn't know him yet. So how old was Chad when you met the Skynyrd boys?
Oh, 2, 3, yeah, 3, something like that.
3?
Yeah, I had a '67 Camaro that didn't have any exhaust on it, and then I had a Harley Davidson that didn't have no exhaust on it, so he could always hear me coming. That's what he
So
always
did he
did.
hide?
No,
Did
he
he?
just knew I was coming. He'd hear these big,
Oh.
these loud noises coming. He'd go, "Oh, Dad's home."
So when you met Skinner, Chad was how old? You think?
Oh, two.
2 years old, and you uh got hired with Skinner, and so you were living in Ohio, and so was Chad and his mom, right?
Yeah.
And wasn't she kind of like a rich? Her dad was rich or something.
Well, yeah, kind of, yeah. Chad was conceived in the maids' quarters. Yeah, they lived in the mayor's mansion down in
Oh,
Kansas.
yeah, that's right. Yeah.
Yeah.
So whenever you met Skinner and you said, "Oh, well, now I got a job working for Lynyrd Skynyrd," did you haul ass and you had to leave them in Ohio?
Yeah. When I come back, we got back together, and we all moved down to Jacksonville. Yeah.
So you moved them all down to Jacksonville. Now, what did
Mhm.
your wife think about Lynyrd Skynyrd whenever when you told him, "Hey, I'm going to work for Lynyrd Skynyrd"? Did she know who they were?
I don't know. I don't really remember that much about that,
Yeah.
to tell you the truth. No.
So whenever you started hanging around the guys, and what'd you do? Did you bring Chad over there every now and then and let him screw around and play around and shit while you were?
Chad was always with me.
Oh,
I
he
mean,
was. You
oh
took him
yeah.
everywhere you went.
Yeah,
Kind of like Lee,
he was like my dogs. He
kind of
just
like
went.
Leon and Wicker.
Yeah, he just went. He was a good kid, man. And he paid attention. He did.
Yeah.
Didn't. He was easily to maintain, man. you know, so I just took him with me everywhere, and nobody cared. They all liked, because he
So
was
do you remember the first time Ronnie saw Chad?
not really no.
Did you remember he took a liking to him?
Yeah, he always liked Chad. Yeah, all the guys did. Yeah,
So
yeah.
Chad was kind of like hanging around all the time. It was because I know when I was telling you when I grew up, there was always people smoking weed around the house, and I was just kind of like the cool kid around the house because, oh yeah, he's just a little kid and he don't care if we smoke weed. Or it wasn't like I had an opinion of it, or anything. But was Chad
Chad
kind of
wasn't
like
like a
that?
kid, man. He was like almost like a little adult, man. He
Yeah,
really
that was
was.
me.
Yeah, he hung around with the guys, and he wasn't like, a little brat running around. He was a cool kid.
And that's why Chad and I get along so good because we both were raised in dysfunctional bullshit. So when you guys had practiced and Chad, did he come on the road with you too?
When it was possible, they would come out on the road. Yeah,
Yeah.
I told Chad, I said, Griff wants to do a little segment on you today, and I said, yeah, said, we had the devil staying in your bedroom, and he goes, yeah, guys keep forgetting to mention that I kept making the cross sign with, with my fingers.
Yeah, that was when
I
that
look
was
at it
when
right across side.
that when Chad was about 5 years old and they made him watch The Exorcist. And then they brought Linda Blair in the house and she stayed in his bedroom. And talk
Yeah,
about child
he's
abuse.
going. Oh God.
Yeah, he told me that he remembers sitting down by, I guess it must have been Bob Burns' drums, or he used to sit there beside the
Oh
drums.
God, yeah, he says, man, you got to find that picture of me and Ronnie sitting at the mixing board with me, Ronnie and Kevin sitting at the mixing board and stuff. Yeah, he was always doing stuff. Yeah, he's always playing drums and doing shit. He was always at the studio.
And I guess
Like he was, there's a picture of him wrestling Ronnie at the Riverside studio down on the floor wrestling around.
yeah, Chad's, he's got a lot of fond memories of Ronnie and all the guys. And I mean, he was around them a lot more than people realize. And,
And Lace and Ronnie's parents too. He was always hanging around with Lacey's parent, with Lacey and Johnny.
I guess they kind of babysat him some, huh?
He was over there, and he would go over there and eat all the time, and Lacey wanted him to go out and get a crucifix, to wear it while at the table. You had to have a crucifix on to eat at Lacey's table.
Really?
Yeah. So Chad went and got this cheap crucifix or whatever at Kmart or something, and said, "Here, Lacey, I got a crucifix." So he said the next time he went over there, Lacey went and bought him a good one and gave it to him.
But he said Lacey had a lot of rules. You didn't do certain things over there. Yeah, and like we talked about before, you couldn't go around Sister, Lacey's wife, with your shirt off, and you couldn't wash your hands in the kitchen sink. And I have to ask him about what other rules they had, but he did say that Lacey was and Lacey and Sister were really cool and nice to him.
Somebody asked me about Johnny that they noticed he's always saying, look up, he's always up there. And somebody asked me if he's always been like that. And I don't really remember Ronnie. Like I said, they did, do the circle and do the prayer before they went out, but it wasn't like a religious thing. Like I think I said before, it was more like the gladiators meeting and getting together or whatever, like like a more of a get together and collect your energy and stuff. But I don't never remember Ronnie talk about religion that much, like Billy or Leon, did. Billy was in Vision, and somebody was asking me about, Johnny, if he'd always been religious like that. And I really wasn't sure, so I asked Chad. He goes, "Yeah, he was."
Well, going through all the things those guys went through,
the whole family were.
Including a plane crash, you'll find religion.
Yeah.
You kind of find
I would
religion.
imagine,
yeah. Did you ever eat dinner over at Lacey's?
Yeah. So I told Chad, and I said, I don't, there was a few times in my life where I did wear a cross, but I don't think it was at that time of my life. I don't think I was wearing a crucifix, but.
So you sat down at the table with Ronnie and his parents, and it was Sister a good cook?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. And those of you that haven't been,
just simple food, just simple stuff.
Yeah, the Van Zant house. You can go there. You can rent that place, and man, there's some people that say that there's some I guess supernatural shit going on in there. I've talked to several people that have.
I have too. That there's some strange stuff going on in there.
Yeah, there's like some things move on their own, and actually pictures that have been taken that you can see Lacey in, and all kinds of stuff. Yeah, some crazy stuff, and I think Chad's got some stories about some stuff in there, and we'll do a little update on some of the stuff that Chad's seen in the Van Zant house.
He goes over there. He's over there on that side. When he's over there on that side of town, he stops in there and sees if anybody's in there doing tours or anything, and stops in. And there's people that ask him to, come over and, show him around and stuff, So he does every now and again, I guess. He goes over there and does a tour.
Chad actually he went on the plane and kind of like didn't fly in it, right? He just kind of like got in it and
I'm sure he's been in the plane, but he didn't fly in it. Yeah.
And so when the plane crashed, of course you were knocked the hell out, but after you got your senses back to you. How did Chad take that? Because, you know, I mean, he was close to Ronnie, and you know, that was pretty. It had to be pretty hard on him. You remember him going through anything as far as that? You having to sit him down, explain to him what happened to Ronnie or anything like that?
No, when I got home, like I said before, when I got home, we were going through a divorce, so we were kind of alienated a little bit there, you know.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, yeah. So there probably wasn't a whole lot of sentimental talk at that time.
No,
Then I guess. Huh?
yeah. Yeah, I
Yeah.
don't think he really understood what was going on.
But then when the band got back together, of course, you know, Chad knew all the guys. They were like his uncles, you know, and
Oh God, yeah, yeah, yeah.
Johnny was like his brother. And
Me and Gary, you know, when I got back together with the band, you know, it was just like I stayed at Gary's a lot, you know, and Chad was over there. Me and Gary were always together, and he remembers that guy, um, uh, Tim. You know, Tim was Gary's stable
Gary's
guy.
stable guy.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah. I just talked to him
Yeah.
this evening. Yeah.
And of course, my first wife and Alan's wife Kathy were good friends. So Chad and Amy were real close. You know.
Yeah. Chad was, you know, friends with all the kids,
Yeah.
you know, Artemis kids.
And Chad and Melody are still close. They still talk. Chad still talks to Chris Pyle all the time and Marshall. And he's been talking to
the Pepper.
Pepper here recently. Yeah.
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 Yeah, Chad, you know, Chad's a pretty well-rounded guy, you know.
He
I mean,
talks
for all the
to
stuff he's been through.
Lily a lot. He talks to Brandon. I think Chad's the only one. He was close with Tammy. You know, when Tammy, Ronnie's daughter Tamara, he stayed close with Tammy, and he stays close with Brandon and Brandon more than Joel. I think Powell. And
Yeah, and he still talks to Judy, and they, you know, get along okay. I think
occasionally,
he hasn't talked to Johnny in a while, and he's Johnny, if you're listening, Chad wants to talk to you. He misses you, man. He don't understand. But yeah, so Chad, yeah, I mean, you know, what a part, you know. I mean, the guy, you know, was raised by Lynyrd Skynyrd. How many people can say I was pretty much raised by Lynyrd Skynyrd? You go to school and tell your teachers, and they call you a liar.
Oh, that's the truth. Yeah, he went to school and was telling everybody all his friends were Lynyrd Skynyrd, and the teacher he got in trouble, and the teacher called home and said he was a big liar. You know, he said he knew all the Lynyrd Skynyrd people. I said, well, he does.
Yeah, I mean, you know, it's got to be pretty bad. You know, you go tell it, yeah, you know, my dad works for Lynyrd Skynyrd. Go sit in the corner. Put your nose in the corner and put this
Well,
dunce hat
he
on.
went to a Christian school, and they thought Lynyrd Skynyrd was the devil, played devil
God.
music. Yeah, that's what he says, man. Yeah, I went.
And then when you know, when you have the devil stay in your bedroom, I mean, it's kind of like, you know, it verifies it.
Oh, God.
So yeah, well, you know, I guess we covered Chad pretty good, but we need to have Chad back on and let him talk a little bit more about his upbringing with Skynyrd, because I don't think
Yeah,
we really
we
ever
need to
went
get
into-
Lily on. Maybe we can get a hold of Lily and get.
Yeah, maybe we can get,
Chad.
you know, Pepper and Lee and Chris and Chad, and they can have a little reunion on the podcast. What do you guys out in podcast land think about that? I bet that'd be pretty cool, huh?
Yeah, well, we got a whole year to do about another how many shows?
Yeah.
At least
Well,
100.
we'll hit 200 probably in the next 5 months.
Yeah, we're doing quite a few. We started out just doing one a week, and now we're
Pretty
doing
soon our
sometimes 4 a
podcasts are
week.
going to pass our subscriptions.
You know what? I got my where they pay us. I think we made $211 last month.
No, that's not too bad to go toward the survivors, I guess,
subscriptions,
for starters. And if you guys like and subscribe, then that'll go up, and then the monetary value will go up, and the survivors will get more money. So if you're watching the podcast and you like Lynyrd Skynyrd and you want the survivors to be okay, hit like and subscribe, and those donations go to those guys, and they really need it. And also, if you want to send some money to Craig Reed, P.O. Box 442, Green, Ohio 44232, which is on the board behind Craig, and pick out a survivor. And of course, there's Leslie Hawkins, there's Paul Welch, and then we got Gene Odom, and we got Artemis isn't in there yet, and hopefully we'll get him on. Maybe he'll start one to collect money. And then you got Mark Frank and Mark Howard, and all those guys are beat up pretty bad. Every one of them got issues from the plane crash, and their buddy Craig is trying to help them out. So help Craig.
And I don't take no money. I'm not, I don't have any medical bills or anything, so I don't take any of that money. So
yeah. So what do you say, Craig? You want to take a look at those videos of Chad hanging around, and then some really cool video you guys have been asking about Craig's movies, and I talked Craig into breaking some loose, and there's a watermark on there. So you guys enjoy those movies, and please send us comments and questions about them, and we'll go over all of them on the next podcast, and I think that'll be pretty good. So, yeah, there you go. Land Clearing Service, Parsons. Land
Clearing Service, and ask for Tom.
For all your land clearing needs.
If you want your pond dig out, ask for Tom. Parsons Land Clearing Services. That's
Greg, when they're out there working on your pond, get your metal detector out there. You might find some Civil War bullets or something.
Oh, that's all silt. That's all runoff. It's just all water that's just had a bunch of mud in it.
Might be an arrowhead, arrowhead
silt.
or something.
There's no rocks or nothing in there. It's just flat out topsoil.
Gene Odom says you got money buried in there everywhere.
Yeah.
From that plane fuselage that you got at the junkyard that's in your barn.
Yeah, really. Yeah.
Gene goes up to Chad Reed and he goes, Chad, you need to get that damn treasure map from your dad before he dies. I know he's got jars of money buried all in that property.
I saw that one thing from somewhere we saw it. It says we were asking for questions or something. And the guy said, "Why do you sell fake stuff?"
Yeah. Griff, ask Craig why he sells fake stuff off the airplane.
God, you guys settle for all this fake news you've been getting all these years.
Yeah. You listen to CNN
about that. Been getting all this fake news for the last 10 decades. I don't see anybody complaining about that.
Oh, yeah.
My God, the fake news today. Oh, my God, I can't even stand it. I'm about to puke. And I hate to say it, but it's women. It's all women. They asked one woman was standing up going, she wanted assault rifles banned. Banned all assault rifles. And the guy said, "Ma'am, can you explain to me what an assault rifle is?" And she said, "Well, I don't know anything about guns. I just want assault rifles banned."
Yeah, because she was told.
I mean, it's just like they're stupid. God almighty knows. It's like, and they're running our country to hell. God, I miss America,
Oh, God, yeah.
You've been gone way too long, man,
Yeah.
God bless America. You've been gone way too long. God bless God, I miss America. It's been a minute since you've been gone.
Yeah, that's
Kid Rock. Those are words from a song that he's writing, I guess. I was watching it.
I heard he's teaming up with Oliver Anthony, so he's probably trying to get a little
He's
bit on
teaming up
that
with a bunch of
patriotic.
people.
Yeah.
He's writing a song called Miss America. He's Miss America, yeah.
I wonder if him and Ted
God bless
Nugent.
Miss America.
You think him and Ted Nugent talk?
Oh yeah, yeah. I think they do. Yeah, they're all
that would
both
be.
patriots. Yeah, I'm sure they do.
I'd like to see Kid Rock sing "Wang Dang, I Want a Sweet Poontang."
Well, Skinner's a part of that country, whatever country thing fest. Kid Rock's got going on. He's got seven. I think he's got 7 artists, and Skinner's one of them.
Yeah, cool.
Yeah, they're going to continue. I heard Johnny and Ricky saying that they're not going to do the farewell thing anymore. They're just going to continue with it. That's what.
Oh yeah.
That was one of Gary's final wish. They wanted, they'd just like to continue with it. I ain't got a problem with it. That's what Ronnie would want.
They still do a good job, in my opinion.
Yeah, they do.
I really enjoyed when I went to the concert and listened to those guys. It was very. It's a really gives you chills, man. It's a
Michael's a great drummer, man. When you got a great drummer, you got a great band.
Oh yeah.
He's a great drummer, and Damon and Sparky and Peter Keys, and Ricky. It's a great band. I mean, and Johnny's singing Ronnie's songs, and
that's right.
I don't think Ronnie would mind that at all.
You got Van Zant blood. Van Zant blood still running through that van. So
it beats any other tribute band out there. It's closer you can get to any other tribute band, I guess.
Well, they don't have a problem selling tickets by any means.
Besides Artemis's tribute band, I guess I guess they're a tribute band too, a tribute to Ronnie Van Zant. It's all his songs, so he's carrying it on too. So
yeah,
got a couple of them out there carrying it on, so it's all cool with me.
Yeah, if anybody hasn't seen that interview with Artemis, Pyle, and Huckabee, that's a great little interview he did with him, and then the band plays. Might have been That Smell. I don't know. I can't remember what song it was, but it was good. It was really good. If you want to see Artemis on Huckabee, that was a really good one.
I saw somewhere where one of Artemis's guitar players isn't playing with them anymore.
The bass player.
Yeah. One of the guys ain't with them.
Yeah, I don't know what happened there. Who knows? But I'll ask Artie if I get to sit down with him.
So, alrighty then. Well, looky here. I guess that's the end of the podcast 146 of the STONED Roadie show, and it's been my pleasure.
Stick around for the video.
As your host tonight, Craig Reed, the STONED Roadie, and thank you to my co-host, the rocket scientist, Griff Martin, and just stay tuned for that video coming up here. And until next time, see you later, alligator at the Wild Crocodile. And happy trails to you until we meet again. We're out of here. Cut. Thank you very much.